Quieto on the 14th floor in a bedroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the police mix, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. She walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 223 of Phired Sports. Check us out at phiredsports.com. I'm Mike Gillotto. Joining me as always, Mark Ramos. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Same old here.
Not a whole lot going on. Had to deal with Snowmageddon, as they're calling it these days. This past weekend, it was a miserable experience. How did you make it out? Did you stay warm, stay inside? You guys get after it outside? What was the game plan?
Yeah, so we went. We did our grocery shopping the day before the snow came.
That was probably a madhouse.
It wasn't that bad,
Really?
Right? Yeah, well, I was surprised at how not bad it was. And then, so we got some stuff for made a big old thing of chili.
Okay.
We watched TV and just hung inside. And then, once it came down to shovel duty, which is of course my job.
It's the worst. It's the worst, is it?
It took me 2 days and then a couple shifts in between me working from home. So I did get through it. I did clear out the driveway and all, but it's all icy out there. There's big old mountain on my front lawn too.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Of course. Yeah, like the day before, I go out to the garage, and I'm like, it's been a while since I've, turned my snowblower on. Let me give that a turn it on, see if it's working, everything's good. I spent like an hour. I couldn't get it started. So I got to figure that out in the spring or summer. But I had to shovel. I was not happy. Shoveling is miserable. It's a miserable.
Yeah, I'm gonna invest in a snowblower.
Yeah, when they work, they could be lovely.
Yeah. There's a couple of people on the street that have them, and definitely cuts down the time. It looks like. You know. I was out there before they were, and then they were done before I was. So.
Right. Yes. It is. It definitely helps when one works.
Yeah.
But that's probably on me. I should have, instead of waiting until the day before to see if it worked, I should have been a little proactive with that.
Huh. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. But the kids went out. They had a good time.
Yeah.
It's snow. It's the worst. I was telling my wife, I just got to move somewhere warm. I don't know if it's, I don't know where, but I'm tired of the cold. They were supposed to get more snow this weekend. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm okay with snow, but this is too close.
Yeah, right.
Too close. We need a. I like when it's nice when it snows, but then it's got to melt, and then if it wants to a little bit later come back, we get some snow. That's fine, but this is way too close.
Yeah, and there's not a day over 20 degrees in the next 2 weeks.
Oh.
So this stuff's never gonna melt.
Yeah, no, it's not. So
brutal. It's brutal. So I was gonna try to find a smooth transition. Couldn't really think of one. But the Eagles are still looking for an offensive coordinator. Seems like all the candidates are kind of, at least all the big ones, are kind of gone. I don't really have anybody on my list of wants or needs right now. I'm skeptical they're gonna do the right thing or hire the right guy. But is there anybody you're kind of looking at still, or are you just kind of hey, wherever the chips are gonna fall, we'll figure it out later?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it today. It came down today that Brian Dable took the Titans job, offensive coordinator job, which I was kind of surprised to hear that. um, that he was going to go to Tennessee, especially leaving a situation where, like he did in New York. It's kind of like he's going to a worse situation,
Without a doubt. Yeah.
you know. Um, but yeah, I don't know that I have any, because now we're kind of getting down to, guys that are, it's not really about like, it's not really like guys that are maybe offensive coordinators other places, guys that are, now you're kind of looking at that like next apron of guys who are like, um, QB coaches and things like that are looking to take a promotion and get, move up the ladder, so to speak. Um, I mean, there's a couple guys. I heard Matt Nagy's name out there.
I have no interest in Matt Nagy. Zero.
I saw somebody say, which I thought was funny. Um, Someone commented on like whatever post it was, one of the reporters that put it out there, and somebody was like, "That's definitely a Lori call," and that Lori loves himself somebody from the Andy Reid coaching tree. And
Yeah. Well, he coached. He was in Chicago, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Like, what did he do in Chicago that was so
nothing,
special? Like,
nothing.
I have no interest in Nagy. Zero.
Yeah. So I don't know really what that. Now I'm starting to kind of get concerned about, a lot of national people are now like putting out there like, I don't see how this Eagles job wouldn't be attractive.
Makes
This
no
offense,
sense. Yeah.
but a lot of national people are saying that it's not a very like, it's not a very favorable job, or a job that like people are like knocking down the door to try to get, which is, number one, I mean, the first question, the big question, is like, why is it,
Mhm. Yep.
what
It's a
is it
good
like
question.
so, um, and we don't have those answers right now, but
No, because I mean, you look at it, and it's a team that just won the Super Bowl 12 months ago. Like, let's
mhm,
start. Let's start there.
yeah,
There's a winning kind of culture, and you have a coach who Nick Sirianni's kind of like a weird vibe, because like people still don't love him. I don't know how much respect he has among like nationally. I don't know how much respect he's gained as like a head coach and what he does and all that. But as a guy that's been to two Super Bowls and he won one of them, in my opinion, like, how is that not an attractive destination?
yeah. Like, how
Um,
would you not want to work with a guy like that?
yeah. So is it coming from a standpoint of like they just don't trust Sirianni and like what he's about? Is it the fact that like they don't want to go to a spot where they know Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie are the ones calling the shots anyway? Like, is that the part of the job that's not attractive? Is it the drama that comes with AJ Brown? Is that part of it? But with strictly talent, like, again, they just won a Super Bowl 12 months ago. They have, Saquon, yeah, had a down year, but he's still a top 2, 3 running back in football. I don't care what his numbers said. You have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, who are one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. You have Jalen Hurts, who won a Super Bowl MVP and could have won another if they win that first one. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Has his faults, sure, but like, he won a Super Bowl MVP. Like, there's talent all over that offense. How it doesn't make any sense that I'm hearing it's not an attractive job. Makes zero sense.
Yeah, and for all those reasons you mentioned, maybe I don't know. Maybe maybe Hertz is a part of that. Maybe there isn't, like, we talk about like, throughout the year we were kind of talking about like, man, I really wish he would, you know, pull the ball down and run with it more. Or I wish he would do this. I wish he would do that. Um, I don't know. Maybe there's like not a willingness now that he doesn't. That would be really hard to believe given the outward appearance that Jalen gives off. I especially also being the son of like a coach. You would think
Mm.
like he would be a little bit more receptive to coaching if that's really an issue. But yeah, like I'm with you. I really don't. Maybe you know what? Maybe we're too close to it. Maybe because we're in the city and we're in Philadelphia, and it's like, I would think for all the reasons you just mentioned, yeah, this would be an attractive job. For whatever reason, though, that like it's like a thing that is out there and people talk about it as if it's like a foregone conclusion. Like, of course, everybody knows this in league circles and all, but it doesn't feel like that here. Like where, like you just said, I mean, like they just won a Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl last year. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yep.
and I don't understand. I don't understand that part. And um, yeah, like
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what it is.
understand. I understand what you're saying about like being too close, but at the same time, like I look at myself as like being a realist. Like I can tell you when I feel like the years of like the tanking Sixers, how much of a dysfunctional mess they are, how inept I think that the Phillies ownership and front office are right now. The Flyers, how they're like I can be real and tell you when things aren't right. And to me, it just with all the reasons I laid out earlier, I don't see how it's not an attractive job. I just don't. I'm not
Yeah,
buying that.
no, I do agree with you. I'm trying to think of like where that would come from,
Yeah,
unless somebody's like somebody who's very influential is saying those things, and we like and insiders are getting fed that info. Um, but yeah, I mean, as we see it from the outside, I don't see how it's not. I don't see how that's the case. But um, we're kind of at a point now where it's like you're probably looking at guys who probably, at least on paper, wouldn't be like a direct upgrade. Like you couldn't outright say that the next guy's going to be an upgrade.
it better
Um,
be from Kevin Patullo. It better be.
well, yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like name appeal or being like, oh,
Sure,
this is a
sure,
guy
sure,
with some
sure.
track
Yeah,
record of success. We might not be getting that. We might be getting a first time OC, again, and like that might be something that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like we can't say today, that it'll be a successful hire or not. But I'm with you, kind of like the stuff I've seen about Matt Nagy. That's not really something that I'm particularly interested in exploring.
or Jim
If
Bob
I'm
Cooter's name out there.
Jim Bob Cooter's another one, like and it sounds like he would be ahead of Nagy, but like I mean the Eagles haven't made any real um,
I don't
they haven't
know.
made any offers.
Sure, and I don't know if I trust or don't trust the guy named Jim Bob. It kind of sounds like a football name, but at the same time, his name's Jim Bob. I don't know.
Yeah, Jim Bob sounds. I mean, you got to
Sounds
know
legit.
ball
Yeah,
if
I
you're.
think so. Right? I think I agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you got to know ball. Like you can't.
Like it's a real
He
southern
sounds like
name. Like
yeah, he sounds like he's right out of like a Friday Night Lights
you're
type
right.
thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Yes,
like a football movie. Um,
yes, that's what I'm
you know,
thinking.
yeah, like so you got to be good at what you do with a name like that.
That's what I'm thinking.
So yeah, I'm ready. Let's make him an offer.
Yeah, why not? And that's the other thing. Is like it's apparently, and I guess when guys like withdraw, it's because there's a better job out there for them, whatever. But like it sounds like the Eagles haven't even made an offer, so I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, they
I
haven't
don't
made
know
any
if
formal
I don't
offers.
know if they haven't found the guy they're looking for, or before they even have a chance to offer the people, the candidates are telling them, "Hey, thank you, but no thank you. Like I'm interested in somewhere else, whatever." I don't know what the deal is, but it seems a little odd in this far in the search not to like give anybody an offer yet. Like, that seems weird.
Yeah, it does. Unless, like you said, like I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Eagles are bringing people in for interviews, and you're coming in thinking you're going to interview for the job, and the Eagles have like basically a list of things you need to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, right.
then, then like I can see how that wouldn't be attractive in that situation where you would, you know,
Yeah,
you'd be like, "Am I? I'm here to interview for the offensive coordinator job. Am I going to get to like make any decisions here, or like you guys going to just basically run the show?" I don't know, but yeah, it is a little strange. I thought like at least there would have been an offer made to someone because you know they've interviewed a lot of people. It seems like we've heard a
yep,
lot of names, or at least them that they've requested people to interview and stuff like that. So they are active in that. But you would have thought that there'd have been at least an offer made to somebody, or at least we would have found out about it by now. But
yep.
onward and upward, I guess, with it. And but I don't know that anybody else is going to be like like you're not gonna like. I think the name appeal guys would have been, you know, McDaniel, Dable, Kevin Stefanski before he took the Falcons job. Like those were kind of the names that I think most people would have thought like, oh, like this guy could come here and make a difference. Um, and the other ones are kind of guys that are like lesser known guys. I feel not that that's a
Yeah.
bad thing, but lesser known guys.
Um. Yeah, I guess it's not a bad thing per se, but like the lesser known guys don't really have a track record. I feel like, the way that they've hired offensive coordinators. Although I guess Steichen and Reich weren't like A-list guys before they had success here. So I mean, maybe it can work out, but
Yeah.
recently I don't know. I think I just have the Brian Johnsons and the Kevin Patullos in my head of like I want somebody who's established, like somebody who's done it before.
Yeah. 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 I think ideally, you'd like to have you would like to have somebody who's done it before and also somebody who maybe doesn't have much of a desire today or next year or so, like that immediately is going to use the job as a launching pad to another position. Whereas like maybe
Which is
they're
what McDaniel and Dable would have done.
right. Yeah. They were definitely going to, um, they're going to use that job as a platform to get a better standing somewhere else. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, I think, I think there's a really nice fit there. Like, for the Chargers in particular, like to have McDaniel come in as a play caller, and do something with some of the because they have like a young kind of core base of players offensively. Try to get really good years out of those guys, and then go find the big ticket somewhere else. So, but yeah, I mean, like, it would be nice to have that someone who was maybe a little bit older and like so you can have this continuity because the Eagles haven't had that like at this position or in this on the coaching staff in this position rather. They haven't had this continuity, and I that's got to be tough. I mean, like to come in, each year, like I think as like a player and all, it's got to be tough to come in and you're working with a new person every year. It's got to be difficult to some degree.
You look at Jalen Hurts, and even going back to his years in college, like he's had 1,000 different coordinators in his career.
Yeah.
To get every year, every other year, he's got a new guy coaching him. So
yeah, and you would think like that continuity would help you get more comfortable.
Sure.
Not just cultivate a relationship, but also like kind of you get a better understanding of what they want from you. Vice versa. You feel like you can go to that person and talk to them. It's easier to flesh out conflicts if you know the person better. You know what I mean? Like you don't take things as personal or what have you. So it's and that's incredible in of itself. You know what I mean? Like even looking at the career Jalen's had to this point with all that that change. I mean, I would like to have him kind of have some stability there and see how that works.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping Kellen Moore was, and then he left after like what seasons?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a waiting game. We'll see what happens, and I'm sure whoever it is, will criticize hard come next September, October.
Yeah, we will. It's no doubt a tough job. It's a tough job in the fact that people are going to be tough on you. But I mean, like that's one thing I love about where the Eagles are at now is like all of us have seen them now win 2 titles, and like the standards raised. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like step up or step aside kind of thing. And I love that mentality. We don't. It's a sliding scale, right? Like if a team's not having success for a long time, people tend to check out,
And maybe this is an unfair question considering they did just win 12 months ago. But if whoever they hire comes in and it's still not great and they just barely kind of squeak into a playoff spot next year and they lose in round 1 again, like how short of a leash does Sirianni have at that point?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. I would think that his seat would start getting hot.
Yeah,
Um, just by virtue of like things just looking stale. I mean, that would have been. It's one thing for them to come out and have a year like they did this year, um, but it would be another thing, I think, if like nothing changed coming in the next season, new
right,
play caller, and things still look that way.
right,
I would also, I would even be looking to like, you know, Sirianni seat getting hot, and then start looking at, the if we have to start
Rosen.
kind of taking a scalpel to this roster a little bit,
Okay, okay,
or at least on
yeah,
the offensive side, you know.
right, right.
So
But then at that point, I mean, again, we're getting way ahead of
yeah,
ourselves. But at that point, like, what more could you change with the roster? Because like, I think people are already kind of assuming. Maybe assuming is the wrong word, but like a lot of people don't think AJ is going to be here anyway this year. So like that's
mhm.
one guy off the roster. So like if you gotta kind of take a knife to the roster again next season, like I mean at that point are you thinking Hurts? I mean I don't really want to trade Devontae Smith because I think he's a good piece to kind of build around.
Mhm.
And Saquon's, I mean I guess who knows what kind of year we'll have. Maybe you look to get rid of him as well. If like I don't know. Do you at that point do you just kind of blow it all up?
Yeah,
But that's probably a question for 10 months from now. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. We'll have to bookmark that show because
Yep.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but yeah, I would think Sirianni's seat would get hot, and I would think, even though I'm a huge fan and I really really enjoy watching Jalen play, I think there would be his detractors would get it certainly much louder uh, in a
Yes.
situation like that, and it would be, I think, at that point it would be justifiable uh, to talk about those things, if in fact it looks that way. Um, so yeah, I mean, like that, we might be having those conversations, provided this doesn't, there isn't a bounce back here.
Yeah. Sorry, I got really distracted because I just got like a text from somebody who sent me a list of MLB. I guess the MLB Network is doing their top 10, I guess, per position.
Mm,
And number 10 on the MLB Network's top 10 left fielders list, number 10, the 10th best left fielder in the league, according to MLB Network, is Brandon Marsh. Now, that seems crazy to me. But, like, I guess I'd have to look at the left fielders that he's above.
yeah,
That seemed, I don't know. I know he had like a good second half of the year, but like this is a guy that basically got sent to the minors because he was so bad the first half of the year.
yeah,
He regained himself and he was really good the second half. But like top 10 left fielder, like is the position that bad? I don't know.
yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't even know. Like, because I feel like a lot of guys, they move around now.
True, very true. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Especially the two corner outfielders.
Yeah. Like, so, uh, is there? And I'd be interested to know if like MLB Network actually had like a, you know, like starts at per position, where they kind of classify someone as a left fielder, even though they may split time between left and, center maybe, or, whatever the case is. Because we know they've used Marsh at center too, the
Right.
Phillies. So,
Very true.
that's interesting though, because I don't know how you would classify them now, because I feel like guys move around a lot more.
They do.
But
They definitely do.
Interesting thing, I was going to bring this up tonight, regarding like the Phillies and stuff like that, was I saw that Harrison Bader, of course, today signed a new deal with San Francisco. I think it was a 2-year deal,
Mhm.
and wanted to put the question to you that would you rather have Garcia at his number or Bader at the number he got
So
from
I think the
Sanford?
numbers are roughly the same. Because Garcia got what 1 year, 10 million, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Marsh got 2 years, 21 million, give or take. Um, they're two different players. I think, and I think they both can play a really good outfield. I think they're both really good outfielders. I'd almost consider that kind of a wash. Maybe Bader can take up a little more ground because he's got a little more speed in him. Um, their numbers, they're different players, I guess, in terms of hitting. Whereas like Garcia's like what I don't know. I don't have his career numbers in front of me, but it's probably like a 220, 230 hitter. But he could hit. But he could hit for power.
Right.
Does that kind of guy make sense in a lineup that's already kind of boom or bust? I'm not entirely sure. And you already saw Bader, what he could do for you. Like what he did when they traded for him, I think kind of exceeded our expectations of like what we thought we were getting from him,
Sure.
and kind of exceeded what he's done pretty much his entire career. Now, if they were to re-sign him, would he have done the same thing? Who knows? But at least you saw what he did as a member of your organization. Because of that, and you don't know what Garcia is going to give you, I think I would have stuck with Bader.
Yeah. And one thing I thought was really interesting, I saw when he signed with the Giants today. This was his third consecutive offseason as a free agent.
Really? Just signed
Yeah.
1 year deals?
Yeah, just 1 year deals. And he's 31. I think he's 31 now. And like you said, career year across the board as a 31-year-old. And not that 2 years is a long commitment. It's not. But yeah, I mean, I think I would have preferred, but to see, like, I think that comes down to familiarity with the player. Like you said,
Sure.
he
Yep.
came here and played well. So, right away, I think like that's a foregone conclusion for people to be like, of course, bring him back. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, like it was interesting to see that because it was pretty much the same. Like you said, the numbers were the same, but I guess maybe not at their number. But I was more or less asking if you would have preferred Garcia or Bader. So that should have clarified that. But
Yeah, I guess with just we've seen him. We know what he could bring. He was, and I don't know that like again, maybe because I haven't seen Garcia close up yet, but like we've seen the energy that Bader could bring. Like I think he was kind of a spark in that lineup at times, because he kind of he played hard, he played his ass off. So again, it's kind of like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Like who knows what Garcia is going to give you. Like he could come in his first year and hit 210, 25 home runs. Is anybody happy with that? Of course not.
yeah,
Like who knows what he'll give you at this part in his career, because he's right around what 30, 31 as well, right?
yeah, he's running the
Garcia, give or
same.
take. So yeah, it's just again, you've seen what Bader did. Would he do it again? Who knows? But on a 2 year deal, I think it was worth the risk.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I think it was interesting to see that. I think also because they're planning to have him in center. It sounds like, and I think the Giants they have a center fielder that they locked up long term, and then I think it was out there today. They were like, oh, like they expect Bader to play center.
Well, that's the other thing is Bader can he's very versatile in the field in that way. Like he can play kind of
That's what he did in
where
Minnesota because they have
yeah.
Buxton in center. So
I'm gonna look to see who they have at center. The Giants. Let me see active roster. All right, outfielders. Doesn't really look to see who they. It doesn't just go by position. But here are the outfielders: Encarnacion, Gilbert, Hooley, Matos, McRae, and Ramos.
okay,
So
that is not me, by the way.
right, yeah, you are not the outfielder for the San Francisco Giants.
I am not. We could be related though. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's Lee. Lee's they signed him to like he's on a long term deal with the Giants, and so I guess he's going to move over to a corner outfield spot to accommodate Bader, so he'll get a chance to play center there, which I think is like probably where he's most comfortable.
I'm getting sorry. I got sidetracked. So I'm looking at these guys like bios and all that, and Luis Matos is born in like 2002, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm old.
Well, yeah,
This guy's just, Bryce Eldridge, 2004.
I had
It's just weird.
a cousin of mine sent me a video, like a compilation thing on Instagram of like it was like a home run compilation of like guys from like the '90s and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
like about like, oh, like the video said like in our era, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe, you know, uh, like some of the guys in the league weren't even born yet, and I, you
Yeah.
know what I mean,
Yep.
when I was, and some of them actually stuck out. Like I remembered seeing like highlights on Sports Center or something like that, or maybe I was watching a game. Uh, so it was pretty crazy, but it was like a bunch of home runs from the '90s, mid to late '90s,
Yeah, I think
'98.
I think I think it's crazy. I think like you're talking like NHL, like I think like Macklin Celebrini like wasn't even born yet when Crosby made his debut or something crazy like that. Like
Yeah,
it's nuts.
that is nuts. Yeah.
I think I have the right. I'm gonna have to look this up now because it's because he's 18 years old, right? Crosby in the league, right? 18, 19 years, give or take.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's coming up on 20 years, or if he's not already
Yeah,
in the league for 20.
yeah. Celebrini was born in June 13th, 2006, whereas Crosby made his debut in what, 04, right, or 05?
Yeah. Yeah. It was oh 05, right?
Well, the was 04 or 05. I think the 04 or 05 season was a lockout.
Yeah.
So it might have been the 05 or 06 season.
Right. Right.
Yeah, he made his NHL debut October 5th, 2005.
Hmm.
Celebrini wasn't born yet. He was born a year later.
That's incredible.
Or I guess 9 months later, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his parents celebrated Sidney Crosby's debut, I guess. So what we're talking so Phillies. Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of said it in the last handful of weeks that like we're all disappointed in how the off season's gone. And I'm not really expecting much for them, for the rest of the off season. Like what else is out there? I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. It doesn't seem like a guy like Bohm or Stott's going to get traded, even though it seemed like it was definitely a strong possibility. Who knows with Castellanos? Other than that, like it's the same team,
Yeah.
the same damn team.
Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, we've exhausted that here the last
Yeah,
couple. We've gone deep dive on the Phillies and our feelings on that. I'm definitely of that mindset too, and I'm kind of what I guess everybody knew it was going to be difficult with the Castellanos contract, trying to move him and stuff like that. The longer it goes, the more concerned I get about it, though. That like they're just gonna he's gonna have to go into the season with them, and
see, I
like
don't even think that. I don't even think he'll go in season with that. Like maybe he'll be on the roster, but like I don't think he's gonna play a game for them this season.
yeah, yeah,
I think
so
they'll just pay him to stay home.
yeah, and that seems like that's worse than I think that's like worst case scenario, to
Right?
pay
Sure.
him to not play,
Yeah.
like, so that would be tough, but um, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what when spring rolls around here, but
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I think it's crazy you can't find a person to take him for one season. Like, there's no sort of long term commitment. It's 20 million, but like these MLB franchises print money, so it's one
yeah,
season. You don't have to make a long term commitment. How you can't get anybody to take anything of that contract seems insane to me.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Especially because like he hasn't been all bad. Like he's had some flashes. So
Oh yeah,
maybe you think, hey, we get him in our clubhouse in a different environment. Maybe that's all he needs, and maybe he'll have a good year for it. But nothing, nobody.
yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Castellanos' highs are usually very good. His peaks are very good.
Mhm.
Um, it's not like he's not a bad ball player by any stretch. I think he's really inconsistent,
Sure.
and
Very.
you know, he could be erratic at the plate. I think at times when he's like really locked in, he can be good. Um, but yeah, and then we've talked about the Thompson thing, and then how that kind of played out. Maybe that is something that you know, in addition to that type of thing, maybe teams aren't as eager to take on even for a year. They're like, oh, we don't really want that in our clubhouse right now, or whatever the
Or
case is.
you want to listen to the drama that could unfold this spring, which would be kind of entertaining. I think I'm here for it. So
Okay.
you said if things don't get off to a great start, you wouldn't be surprised if they give Thompson the axe and bring in Mattingly, right?
Yes, I did say that. Yep.
You did say that.
Yeah.
What if they start the season, hey Castellanos, sit at home, and then as soon as they give Thompson the axe, they call Castellanos up. All right, we got rid of him. Get on a plane.
Oh man, Thompson might go on a two-stater on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's the drama I'm here for.
yeah. Oh, geez, that would be insane. That would be
There would
insane.
be. There would be.
You know, for sure.
With all that said, it's probably not happening. The relationship is fractured. I think.
Yeah.
I think it goes beyond Thompson at this point. I think it's the organization. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure. For sure. It's It's disappointing. And yeah, I think like teams in their division too. I mean, like we often talk about the Mets, but I think we've talked a little bit about the Braves. Like them getting guys healthy, and they tend to have a pretty good system and pump players through, and so I wouldn't fully count them out. So it'll be, it could be tough. It could be a tough, being a tough fight in the division, because the Mets really took some big swings this offseason. So
sure. Yeah, they absolutely did. All right. What is going on? To totally switch gears. What's going on with the Flyers?
with
They're just their stand like they're standing now. Kind of, they're losing games. I know they had one good game. Was it Colorado? They played
mm,
well. But they had a really rough game to Pittsburgh. They lost a really kind of. They looked defeated and couldn't really do anything against the Islanders last night. I think they sit like 5 points out of a playoff spot right now, right? Give or take.
yeah,
I just see things seem weak, and this is a handful of weeks after they give Christian Dvorak that extension, and maybe it's looking more and more like they obviously probably should have held on to that 1 year deal, dangled them at the deadline, get some pieces because they're not ready to compete. They're just not.
yeah, yeah. It definitely looks like that. They had a good trip. I thought that West Coast trip in general.
Hmm.
That Utah game sucked, but and how they lost that game. But it was a good trip, and when you look at the big picture, the 5 out of possible 6 points.
Is Garnett Hathaway cooked? The answer is yes. He's cooked.
Yeah, yeah. That's you know, I
It's not good.
that's not. Yeah,
No.
it's hard to explain that one.
Yeah. Just put the puck in the net.
Yeah, I don't know why you're taking an extra stride and a half to just you know. Yeah, I don't know, but it's yeah, and then like they come home for this Islanders game, and that was a big game because they were uh, two points out of the third spot, because it looks like the Atlantic Division's pretty strong. They're
Mhm.
gonna probably take the wild card spot. So the only way, like, you're looking at it like you're gonna have to get into the one of the top 3 spots in your division, um, and yeah, it's too many nights where like the Flyers look really kind of um, I don't know. They have trouble getting to. They have to work very hard to score, and this is not a team that, in my view, isn't where they were a couple. The last couple years, where it was like, well, they just don't have enough talent. Like, this team does have some talent, so it's not like, you know, um, I don't know why it's so difficult for them to find the back of the net. I find guys more often than in recent years really kind of like overpassing and not finishing scoring plays off, and getting opportunities. Power play still dreadful for this team. They've had multiple coaches, personnel has changed, all that stuff. Power play still dreadful.
Well, I think in terms of offense, losing Forrester I think hurts him a lot. Um, and then it's the guys up top. Like I know, I don't know how you feel about like advanced analytics, and I know Couturier's numbers, like his advanced numbers, by all accounts, seem like they're pretty solid. But I'm just eye test and production wise, he's giving you nothing. Like
Yeah.
I think he hasn't scored a goal in like 25 games or something like that.
Right.
He's got that big contract, and he's the captain and supposed leader, and I think you need so much more from Sean Couturier, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I would find a way to move him in the offseason. I think you have to.
Yeah, it's interesting because, um, yeah, like I think in general, like I think like the more information, like when it comes to the analytics and stuff, I think that stuff in general is a good thing. Um, but at the same time, like it depends on the player and the situation and what type of standard we're applying, right? To a particular player, and I could see that in the sense that like with Couturier, it being like one of these things where that makes sense to me. However, like it's hard to kind of see, Briere and Couturier go way back, you know, and
I think
I
Couturier
just
lived with him his rookie year, I believe,
yeah. So I
or
don't.
early on in his career. I forget exactly when, but
Yeah, I think he was a rookie because he came in as a teenager,
yep.
Couturier. So, um, yeah, I think with him and Briere and stuff like that, I think there's like he's not gonna embarrass him like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna kind of whatever they do, they'll try to do it with some dignity. I think that matters to them, especially because it's a player he's had a relationship with in the past, and he named him captain. Like Briere was in that he was in the GM role already when they named Coots the captain. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like because they still need help down the middle of the ice, and um, they still have an overabundance of wingers, right? Like Porter Martone's going to be here sooner than later, and another winger added to the mix, and something's got to give there, and they're going to have to pull the trigger on something. Which I just came across. I don't know if you've been on Twitter today, but I did
A
share.
little bit.
Uh,
I did not see your thing you shared. Then no, I did not see
yeah,
it.
so according to bookies.com,
Okay,
uh, the
I spent a
Flyers.
lot of time on that. just kidding.
What's
Go
that?
ahead. I spent a lot of time on that. It sounds like a website right up my alley.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Bookies.com has said
yeah.
had a piece out, and they have the Flyers at plus 450 to land Kraken center Shane Wright if he's
Interesting.
traded. The Kraken have the best odds in terms of like they think he's ultimately going to stay in Seattle, but if they do trade him because his name's been floated out there in rumors and stuff, um, and that he's a player that they think the Flyers would land.
What is that? What do you think that costs? Like, it's a guy who obviously was a top five pick. Was he fifth overall? I think, or
Mhm.
sixth, right around there.
Yeah,
He's got the pedigree. He came into his draft year as like the consensus pick and kind of fell down the ranks late. He's a guy that like probably has talent. Hasn't been spectacular for Seattle. His development he's kind of developed a little late. He's not. I don't think he costs you like a blue chip or anything. Like, I'm curious what a trade for Shane Wright looks like.
yeah. So from what I understand, it's like the Kraken are looking for like a top six scoring forward.
I know where you're headed with this, and I don't like it. I don't
You know,
like it. 'Cause I know where you're headed.
where am I going?
I think because like 80% of this fan base wants Owen Tippett traded, and I think that's where you're going.
I,
I think
wa-
you're
I
going Owen Tippett.
He's one of the names,
Okay.
but I think you know, but like again, like it's like a give to get kind of thing.
Yes, but I listen. Owen Tippett's a guy that like can frustrate me at times, but I think he's a guy that if you trade, you're going to be looking for that type of guy for the next 3 to 5 years. Like, I think he's a good power forward in like today's sort of game. He's not running guys through the wall or anything like that, but he's a big body. He's tough to get the puck off. He's fast as hell. He's got a nice shot when he can hit the net. We just got to work on that. Um, but like I think he has all the raw tools to be a fantastic dynamic player,
Yeah,
and I think it's a mistake trading him. I really
he,
do.
he definitely like shows like glimpses of that, right?
Sure.
Like,
Yep.
he was fantastic in Colorado in that game against the Avalanche. The shorthanded goal, he had the hat trick and stuff like that, which is another thing. Like, I know it's kind of popular, especially online, to kind of like completely like trash talk it, and there's a lot of like anything else, right? Like, there's some validity to that stuff. Some of that criticism's fair, some of it isn't. That's kind of how it is. Um, However, like, I love seeing them use Tippett on the PK because, like, with that
Sure.
straight line speed and stuff like that, if you're killing a penalty but you kind of really need to go the other way, right, and push play the other way, he's a perfect guy for that.
Yep.
And he kind of showed that in that Avalanche game. Picks off a pass. The Avalanche were playing out high with it. He picks a pass off, goes the other way, and scores on a breakaway. Um, and that could be really, really valuable to his already, his skill set, the skill set that he has already. Um, but I think it would be worth. I think it would be worth the swing if it were the Flyers uh, in that regard. Unless I think it would really kind of come down to like where how do you feel about Tippett versus a player like Tyson Forrester? Because then
Um.
maybe do you swing
Sure.
Forrester in a trade like that?
I think Forrester is, and obviously I like him. Does he score 30 in his career? Is he kind of hovered around 25? I don't know exactly what
I
his
think
numbers
he's
have
just
been.
around 20 something. Yeah.
20, yeah. I think he's a guy that's much easier to replace than Tippett. Like maybe Forrester's like floor is higher and maybe is a safer player, but I think Tippett's ceiling is much higher.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of raw offensive tools there with
Mm.
Tippett. But like you said, like about being like a frustrating player and all,
It's very
there
it
are
can be.
guys like that in the NHL where like they're good scorers and but like and they may be like a perennial 25 goal guy or maybe even occasionally top 30. Uh, but there will always be a loud contingent around, you know, he's a guy that will steadily score 25 to 30 goals, but he's a guy that, like, oh, if he could just be more consistent, he'd score 40. There's
Yeah,
a lot of guys in the league like that.
sure.
And JVR was a player like that, even though not him and Tippett are stylistically very different. But when James Van Riemsdyk played for the Flyers, he um, was a player that was somebody who could always like. I think he always left people wanting more because he'd have those nights where he was just invisible. But when he was finding the back of the net, getting the redirections in front, really playing his game, he would be a force. Um,
Yeah,
so
you know who Tippett reminds me of is Jake Voracek in the sense of like has all the raw tools, the speed, the shot, the size, the getting along the board battles, all that stuff. Like I would see Voracek make like 5, 6, 7 great plays, weaving in and out of the neutral zone, get it, hold the puck along the boards, make a nice little turn, go to look to pass, and just blindly throw it to the other team's stick at the blue line and goes the other way for a 2-on-1. Like that's the kind of stuff you're getting with Owen Tippett. Like all the tools are there, and then he'll do something completely boneheaded.
yeah,
Um, and if you fix those little mistakes, I think he could be like a really dynamic player.
yeah. I mean, I'm fair with that. I think that's I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Flyers keeping Tippett.
Yeah.
If they were to trade him in a deal and Shane Wright plus something else was coming back, whether it was a pick or
That's the thing. Like, am I completely against trading Tippett? Not necessarily if the player's right. I just don't know that that player's Shane Wright.
yeah,
Because I don't think the ceiling on Shane Wright is all that high.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, I think he's like one of these guys. Like, I feel like he's somebody who has, and I haven't like I'm not watching the Kraken very closely, but I know that when he was taken. Um, his draft year, there was, like he was one of these guys where like I think coming into a draft now, especially now with all that we see of them, I think we're exposed. Like if you're a fan of the game, you're a lot more exposed to the prospects and things like that than we used to be.
Sure.
Um, and I think that's like one of the reasons why we're like we look at performances and like the WJC and things like that. People like I think people kind of blow like expectations out of the water. Like if you have like a good or bad, World Junior Classic tournament, you're like your stock can really be affected by that.
Definitely. Yep.
So, but like, yeah, like I would do. I think I would do it. I think there's like he's 22
Yep.
and he plays a position of need for you. He's been in the league a little bit, and it could be like one of those things where not all that dissimilar from like a Trevor Zegras trade. You get another like a player that was a high pick, hasn't really worked out somewhere. It may not work out all the time, but looking at like the example that Zegras had set with a move, maybe you're a little more brave to try something like that because you've done it before. And yeah, like I mean, he kind of fits the bill. I think for he's a bigger player. I think he's over 6 foot. I think, and right shot centerman, which like those guys are tend to be like tend to be coveted. So, but I think there's something there. Like I think he's got good vision. I think he's got good hockey sense. It just hasn't really kind of come all together for him yet. And maybe with a change of scenery, it would.
So you asked me the question a little earlier, but I don't know if you answered it yourself. Like who would you prefer? Like if obviously you're getting Shane Wright or whatever, who would you prefer to trade out of Tippett or Forster? Like who would you rather keep? Who would you rather send?
Yeah. Well, you jumped the shark on it because like you were like, oh, like it's Tippett, and I
I
think
just had a feel. I had a feeling that's where you were headed
yeah,
because it seems like 90% of Flyers. And I spent a lot of time like scrolling Flyers Twitter. 90% of Flyers Twitter want Tippett traded, and I don't
yeah,
understand why you want Tippett traded. For the right player, maybe I could be entertained, but it's everybody wants Tippett gone.
yeah. I think I'm at a point too with the Flyers where it's like there's a couple guys right like on the team, pretty much probably um, like a Michkov and Martone. I'm not really interested in like
Of course
under
not.
any
Yeah.
circumstance moving guys like that. But let's talk. Let's for anybody else. Let's talk. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
how I
fair.
feel about it at this point. Um, which I'm sure you can already kind of tell where I'm going. But I think I'm a big fan. Tyson Forrester has really impressed me in his time here. When he was drafted, when the Flyers took him, I did not think um, he could be the player that he so far has been. Um, Number one, I did not think he was going to be such a force like a two-way force guy off the
Mhm.
puck and stuff like that. Which like you have to credit Tortorella for that. Putting him in those situations and stuff like that. And when it comes to like shooting talent and things like that, I think it's pretty close with Tippett and Forrester. And I feel like Tyson he's a lot more accurate. And I feel like he kind of they're different players, Like I think like Tippett's a
Yep.
player kind of creates off the rush a lot, and he's at his most dangerous when he's creating off the rush. Whereas like I think Forrester could do that, but I think he's also like a threat, like in terms of like net front presence and things like that. They're different players in that respect. But I think I would hold on to Tyson just because I feel like I think his overall game is a lot better. Um,
Okay.
unless Tippett could, if they traded Tippett and he ended up potting 40 somewhere else, I think I'd be annoyed by that, especially if we didn't have a
Right.
player that was uh, doing that. But I
Of
think as
course.
far as like, you know, I think I would lean Forster, and I think he's proven to be a much better player than I was even expecting after even when the Flyers took him. I didn't really know where because he was like a mid to late first rounder, and I wasn't really sure. I I think he was drafted the COVID year.
Yeah, I believe so.
So there wasn't really like a lot out there.
I think
On him.
didn't they have 2 first-round picks that year, or am I thinking of a different year? That would have been the 2020 draft.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
I don't remember. Did they make a trade?
I don't remember. They picked 23. No, I guess they didn't. No, they didn't have another pick. Never mind. They picked the 23 Forrester. And they didn't pick again until 54. Then they picked Emil Andre. I don't know why I thought they had 2 picks that year.
Might have been the year after.
It might have, yeah, it might have been. It might have been. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it was the Flyers pick. So, yeah, I'm thinking of a different year. So that's fine. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I definitely get where you're coming from there. But you got anything else with the Flyers you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think Dan Vladar is supposed to be coming back soon. Flyers desperately need him in goal, and
Definitely.
so we'll see what happens once he gets back. And it's a strange year with being an Olympic year. You know, there's only a couple more games before the break, and so the schedule seems so condensed. You know, not a lot of practice time, all that kind of stuff. But everybody's dealing with that. So, yeah, like a couple more games here. I think there's 5 games left before the break for the Flyers. So we'll see where what happens there, and they're going to hover around that spot. I think provided there's not another prolonged losing streak or anything like that, they're probably going to hover around that like 5 to 3 point area where they're going to be in it. But it's so jumbled now. Like anything could things can change really quick. So
No, can you hear me now?
yes.
I think I was having mic problems. It just wasn't coming through. Yeah, there's a lot of teams too, like jumbled up right there. Like there's going to be a lot of moving, especially like you said, the Atlantic seems pretty tough. So, I guess the Metro is not as good as people thought it, but like the Rangers stink this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Devils are having a rough season. Columbus is Columbus. Anybody else down at the bottom I'm missing there? Washington's what, second in the division?
Are they second now?
Or
no,
they
Pittsburgh
fourth?
is.
I always forget about Pittsburgh. Why? Why is Pittsburgh good this year?
They're having a good year.
I don't understand it.
They traded was it Jari to Edmonton and Stuart Skinner came back.
And Skinner's been incredible for them.
He's been like lights out for
Ridiculous.
them, putting up like crazy numbers. Somehow that's like been a better trade for them, and Crosby and Malkin are still good players. I mean, they have
Malkin's been great this year.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, and they've had some good luck, I think, with some signings and things like that, like some low key signings that have worked out for them and stuff. So, yeah, and I think that's like to get another crack at a playoff spot with Crosby and Malkin and stuff. I'm sure that's really appealing for them, especially because we don't know how much longer this group's going to be together. The group, as in, I mean, like Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, since they've been together for pretty much they've been together 20 years, the three of them. So
yeah, they'll probably all just retire together.
Yeah, so
all at once, just retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I'm not all that thrilled with the current state of the Flyers. I'm fairly or unfairly gonna be critical of Rick Tocchet because I didn't love the hiring in the first place, and I haven't really loved what he's kind of been preaching, and and all that stuff. So yeah, I tweeted out. I think it was last week. I don't know if you saw it, but like I feel worse today about the Flyers than I did in preseason, and I think that's a failure on their part.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Because like even they've had Zegras has cooled off a little bit here,
mhm.
and like I think that's an opportunity to try him out at center. You know, I know they don't want to break up that line with Dvorak and Konechny and so on and so forth. But if you're not getting the results, why not give it a shot? To see if he can do it. And in which case maybe you keep him there. And you don't have to. We don't have to think about making another trade to try to acquire a center. That maybe Zegras is one of the answers to that player because whether no matter how you feel about the Dvorak signing and stuff, like they signed him and he's going to be here. He's going to be a part of it. So, and probably will play center because they seem to trust him there.
Yep.
So,
Which again, I'm fine. I'm fine with him playing center. I think he's like a fine third line center. The problem is he needs to be way more than that on this team, and they're using him way more than a third line center on this team.
yeah,
That's my problem with it. But
yeah. Like if
go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're good. Yeah, like I mean, if he could somehow continue, like if this is like a new norm for him, where he's going to perform at like a low line second line level, or a low level second line type of player, then or fringe top six guy, that's cool. I think everybody would be happy that he's performing. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the fact that he's never really done that before, and you got to be careful, especially in a hard cap uh, system. Where you allocate that money and what you get from the guys that you're paying. So, like you said about third line center, the problem with the Flyers is that like they have a glut of guys who do the same thing.
Yep.
Couturier, Noah Cates. They're all kind of like varying levels of the same player.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I guess we'll get out of here. You don't have anything else you wanted to discuss tonight?
No, I saw the Sixers are playing the Bucks right now. I saw
they were
Embiid.
up.
They're up 117, 101 right now.
Okay.
And Embiid had a crazy first half, 24 points,
Okay.
8 rebounds, 4 assists, old vintage Joel performance in the first half. So
Love to see it. See it. So, and then we'll obviously talk Super Bowl next week. I figure with a week in between, really no sense in talking about it now. And then it's funny, I was watching the game this weekend. I don't think we did picks last week, did we?
Oh no, we didn't.
No, we did not. We did not do picks. So,
Yeah.
so
I
I'll
went
have
1 for 1. I already know.
you would have had. Well, you would have had the Rams probably then, right?
No, I think I would have
You
taken.
would take Denver with Stidham, huh?
I would have taken Denver with Stidham, but I didn't know it was going to be a snow squall.
It was bright and sunny in the first half, and then you couldn't see a thing in the second half.
Yeah.
It was really bizarre.
And then
That's Denver weather for you, I guess.
yeah, it was. And then I was definitely going to be on Seattle. I think Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl. So
Do you?
yeah. So
I think
Sam
both these teams
he was
are
slinging
so
it.
boring.
yeah.
Like I don't care about this year's Super Bowl. I'm gonna watch it, obviously. Like it's a Super Bowl, but at the same time, like I don't really care who wins. I mean, I guess if I had to pick, I'd pick Seattle because like New England is Boston as a city has won enough, and like especially the Patriots and you don't get to win 7 billion Super Bowls with Tom Brady and then just automatically get an MVP quarterback and win again 3 years later. Like it's not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Like there's no circumstance. Like there's unwritten rules in sports fandom and things like that.
Yeah.
This team did not suffer enough in the post Brady Belichick era. They just didn't. So
like 2 or 3 bad seasons.
Yeah. End up with Drake May somehow, and he's like a stud quarterback. And like pretty much seamlessly, right? I know that there was a couple guys in there. There was that Cam Newton incident, but in New England.
Not about that, yeah. Yep.
So, but for the most part, it's been nothing but parades and good times with the Patriots, and I'm sick and tired of them, and I don't want to see them win anymore. And I just think, dude, I think the Seattle team's really fun. Like seeing Darnold kind of revive his career, turn into a journeyman, and now find a spot after being like a lotto pick and all that. And I mean, this JSN's that kid's an animal too,
Yeah.
a receiver, and he's dominating everybody. And so I can get behind Seattle. So I think
Okay.
I'm going to root for them. And I think if the Rams would have won that game too, I would have been interested to see a player like we were talking earlier about being older now, and like I'm still old enough to remember those Matty Stafford Detroit Lions days. So to see him try to win a second Super Bowl now at this point in his career would be cool.
But at the same time, I've seen LA win enough shit in the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't need to see any more LA. Get out of here.
yeah. See, I was ready for like someone like it would have been awesome if Houston would have gotten through in the AFC or something like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Like because they have never had any.
In
I don't even.
anything, right.
They haven't even made an AFC Championship game.
Did they not? Have they not? Because there was one year where they won I don't know 12, 13 games, but they probably lost early. I don't remember.
I was watching that Patriots Texans game, and they brought up like a side by side graphic of like the success and playoff success, and the Patriots had like a laundry list of success, and the Texans it was like AFC Championship appearances 0, Super Bowl appearances 0.
Didn't
So-
Stroud have like 5 turnovers that game or something crazy?
Oh yeah, he was dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that would have been cool if they would have gotten through. But
Definitely. So, we will talk about that next week. Go subscribe on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the spots, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. We're gonna get out of here. We will see everybody. Let's see if my mouse can work. We have. Oh no, I got it. We're good. We're gonna get out of here. I'm dealing with technological issues. We're gonna get out of here. We will see everybody next Tuesday. See you then.